The tension was thick before Prince Harry even spoke a word. As he stepped onto the stage of the Graham Norton Show, the crowd greeted him with applause, respectful, but tinged with curiosity. This wasn't just any guest. It was the man who'd shaken the foundations of the British monarchy with a memoir that pulled no punches, a Netflix docuseries that sparked headlines for weeks, and an ongoing public battle with the institution he was born into. Wearing a deep navy suit with a crisp white shirt, Harry carried himself with calm confidence. But those who knew how to look, especially Graham Norton, the ever-observant host, could see the flicker of defensive behind his eyes. Harry was prepared, maybe even eager for hard questions. What he hadn't expected was the tone Graham would take. The interview began lightly enough. Graham teased him about California life, avocado toast, and surfboards. Harry chuckled along. Loosening up? The audience laughed. The other guests smiled politely, and for a moment, everything seemed smooth. Then, the conversation turned toward the royal family. Graham, ever the entertainer, knew how to tread the line between mischief and provocation, but this time he stepped a bit too far. So, Graham said, swirling a glass of water and leaning back in his chair. The book, Spare. It's been called everything from brave to, well, a royal tantrum in hardcover. Your take. The room tensed. The guests exchanged glances. The crowd gave a hesitant chuckle, unsure whether to laugh or brace for impact. Harry smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I wrote it to tell the truth, he said, measured and composed. Not everyone liked it, and that's okay. It wasn't written for approval. Graham tilted his head. But do you ever worry that by putting everything out there, family fights, frostbitten parts, giving the very tabloids you despise more ammunition? Harry's jaw tightened slightly. I'm not giving them anything. They already take. This was about reclaiming the narrative. The audience was still. The other guests, an actor from a popular fantasy series, a quick-witted pop star, and a political satirist, suddenly looked small, like bystanders to something more serious than they'd signed up for. Graham didn't back off. But isn't there some hypocrisy in criticizing the press while simultaneously making your life the biggest headline of all? Books, shows, interviews. It's a bit of a media empire now, isn't it? Harry's smile disappeared. He leaned forward, voice low but firm. I never asked for any of this. You think I enjoy this spotlight? My life has been dissected since I was a child. I didn't create the headlines. I'm just no longer staying silent under them. Fair, Graham said quickly, sensing the heat rising. But it was too late. The line had been crossed. Harry sat back, arms crossed, his expression hardened. I came here thinking this was going to be a conversation, not a performance piece where I'm the punchline. Graham blinked, momentarily caught off guard. Harry, I respect you, but come on, it's a comedy talk show. If we can't laugh, what do we have left? A little respect would be a good start, Harry shot back, his voice louder now. You wouldn't mock someone's trauma for a laugh. Why mine? A stunned silence fell over the studio. You could almost hear the production crew stop breathing. Graham, ever the seasoned host, tried to laugh it off. It's just a bit of cheek, Harry. You know how these shows go. Harry stood. Yeah, I do, which is why I'm leaving. Gasps rippled through the audience. The camera scrambled to follow him as he stepped away from the iconic red couch, jacket sharp against the studio lights, face stern. He didn't look back. Graham sat frozen for a moment, then turned to the camera with a half-smile that didn't quite land well. That escalated faster than a royal family WhatsApp group. The crowd let out a nervous, scattered laugh. But the mood had shifted. The magic of the show had cracked under the weight of something heavier, more real. Within hours, the moment went viral. Clips of the exchange flooded social media. People dissected every word, every expression. Supporters hailed Harry for standing up for himself. Critics called him thin-skinned and dramatic. But no matter where you stood, one thing was clear. What happened on the Graham Norton Show that night wasn't entertainment. It was a flashpoint in a much bigger story, and the world was watching. The moment Prince Harry walked off the set of the Graham Norton Show, the internet ignited like dry grass in a wildfire. Within hours, the clip was everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. YouTube accompanied by flashing headlines and divided opinions. Some praised his courage, others mocked his reaction. But for everyone, whether royalist or critic, it was impossible to ignore. This wasn't just a talk show gone wrong. It was a cultural moment. Asterisk at first, neither the show nor Prince Harry's team released a statement. That silence only added fuel to the frenzy. The tabloids ran wild. Some claimed Harry had demanded the footage be pulled from the episode entirely. Others insisted that Graham himself was deeply embarrassed and had offered a private apology. The truth remained murky, somewhere between PR spin and public assumption. Asterisk, behind the scenes, the production team was reeling. The incident had happened so quickly, they hadn't had time to regroup before the video leaked and blew up online. BBC executives reportedly convened an emergency call that same night to discuss what to do with the footage. The producers, keen on avoiding further controversy, considered editing out the confrontation entirely. But doing so would only feed the narrative of censorship. And controversy, they knew, also meant ratings. Asterisk. Meanwhile, the other guests on the show that night were dragged into the spotlight as well. The actor who had quietly sat beside Harry posted a vague tweet the next morning. It's wild how quickly things can go sideways when the truth hits a nerve. The pop star, known for her online candor, was more blunt in her Instagram story. That was uncomfortable as hell. No one signs up for that kind of energy. Asterisk, Graham Norton himself kept quiet for 2 full days. When he finally did speak during a brief press interview for a charity event, his response was careful but pointed. We aim for fun, light conversation on the show, he said, but sometimes things get real. It's not ideal, but we're human. Harry's welcome back anytime. Asterisk, it was a diplomatic answer, but it left many wondering whether the wounds were deeper than the words suggested. Asterisk, when Prince Harry finally broke his silence, it was with a written post shared on his and Meghan's media platform, Arcuel. The message was short but clear. Asterisk, being open doesn't mean being open season. I've spent years watching others tell my story. When I finally try to tell it myself, I'm ridiculed for it. If standing up for my truth makes people uncomfortable, I'm okay with that. I've been uncomfortable my whole life. Asterisk, the message went viral instantly, becoming a rallying cry for his supporters. Hashtag Open Not a Pawn Season trended for 3 straight days. Celebrities, activists, and fans flooded social media with words of support. Oprah reposted it. Serena Williams left a fire emoji. Even some British journalists, usually critical of Harry, admitted that the moment on the Graham Norton Show had crossed a line. Asterisk, still, the backlash didn't go away. Critics argued that Harry had become a master of victimhood, using every slight trial or perceived as further ammunition in his war against the royal image. They said that if he wanted privacy, he shouldn't appear on talk shows at all. Late-night comedians in America joked about the walkout, comparing him to the royal who couldn't take a roast. Asterisk, despite the storm, the Graham Norton Show aired. The episode that Friday as scheduled, but with noticeable edits. The confrontation was trimmed. The most heated responses softened with fades and cutaways to the audience. However, the walk-off itself was left in. The showrunners knew they couldn't erase history. Instead, they attempted to control the narrative. Asterisk, by the following week, the noise began to settle, but the impact lingered. Harry didn't appear on any public broadcasts or interviews for several weeks afterward. Rumors circulated that he and Meghan were reevaluating how they approached media altogether, especially unscripted appearances. One insider claimed Harry felt blindsided by the tone of the show and vowed never to return to a format where he wasn't in control of the narrative. Asterisk, months later, when Harry returned to the screen, it wasn't on a talk show, it was in a tightly edited documentary produced through Arcuel Studios, one that explored trauma, healing, and the complexity of public life. It featured no comedians, no couches, and no clever zingers. Asterisk, as for Graham Norton, he resumed his hosting duties with his usual flair, but there was a noticeable shift in how he handled serious guests. A bit more caution, a little less edge. During a live tour stop in Belfast, he joked, "I'm sticking to singers and stand-up comics from now on. No more royalty, lest they come with a script." Asterisk, the Harry Norton incident became a footnote in the ongoing saga of Prince Harry's life in the spotlight, a symbolic clash between control and comedy, vulnerability and performance. And while opinions remained divided, one thing was clear: that single walk-off had said more about Harry's relationship with the media than any prepared speech or polished interview ever could.